I'm guessing it was 2013. I'm thinking like January, February. I had just left the doctor. I'd been really encouraged because everything was just down. I felt bad, just overall bad. And family and friends really recommended that I have a physical. Well, I would not recommend that to other people because what it ended up doing was just really hurting my feelings. Just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen, because I was told pretty much that I was going to have to go to the hospital. And that's one thing I do not want to have to do. If there's any way around it, then please. And so earlier I had been to Dr. Winter and Jean, and it was just a couple things that I needed. And at that time, I didn't think about, all the needs that I later found out that I had. So I stopped in just as a last resort, and Jean was at the desk. And she and Beverly, I knew them both, and I didn't really have to say much because they told me later that I looked like raccoon eyes and my face was swelled, and I was just swelled up like a balloon, just really not a pretty sight, I'm sure. But anyway, she said, I think I can help you. And I said, now? And she said, yes, now. She went back and she found that I had almost a detached retina, and renal failure was just imminent if we didn't get the pressure removed. She removed the pressure. I left, and it was like, oh, you talk about really, geez, the weight had just really lifted because I no longer was hurting. My eyes didn't hurt. I wasn't swelled. It was like every step I took was painful, and I wasn't in pain anymore. So that got me started. And I've come a long way, I feel, from now, because not only did they do that initially, there has been trigeminal neuralgia, tic douloureux, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. But that had plagued me since I believe it was 1986. And that has been something that through Jean's supplements and with the work that Jack has done, it has gotten down to the place I haven't had a pain in probably 4 or 5 months, and it was just a second. And before, it was as when it would go dormant, but when it really started acting up, it would be once a minute, and it was stabbing pain, and it was just something I wouldn't recommend anybody try. I mean, that really, that was painful. So we went from that, and then it seemed like it's almost like I understand an onion now because of all the layers that they've pulled off. And I've had one thing that I was told by doctors and everyone that said anything to me about this particular disease, which is gout, that once you have it, you'll never get over it. Well, I had it for, I guess, a day, and I got to the point I couldn't walk, and I went to Dr. Winter, and by the end of the session, I was walking, and the pain was gone, and the pain did not come back. So when somebody tells you that there's nothing you can do but surgery, I highly recommend you check all of your options. And Dr. Winter is definitely one for me. Thank you. So now recently, another horror that I thought that, oh my gosh, I hope I never have is a kidney stone. Well, just recently in the last couple weeks.
Well, here's what you got to do, if you don't mind doing this. We're going to do just a special tape on just kidney stones, because that's a major thing.
Okay.
Something that was interesting that you were talking about when you came in just a moment ago is how much better overall you feel. We're in the baby boomer generation. Baby boomers like us say, gosh, I know I'm going to live to be 70 anyway, if not 80, maybe 90. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I don't want to get there and I can't see or hear or gout or any of those kinds of things. It was interesting, obviously, when we walked in the other room, in this room this morning, and you guys are watching your video. And the changes that we could see in you visually, sitting there right now, I don't know how many years, it's been a couple of years probably since we did the video, how much you changed in those couple of years to now.
Right.
So then the vitality, the energy, the clarity of thought, that bubble you're in, the energy drain that was going on that I don't think people even understand they're doing. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what you felt about that consciousness or bubble or exhaustion or lack of clarity or whatever that was, and all of a sudden how that's changed and how, I mean, not how of a sudden, but how that's changed and how you feel about
Yeah.
things now.
Well, the first thing that I thought of is I remember thinking, I know now why I really didn't want to be recorded, because I didn't feel very good and I did not feel like I looked good or felt good. And if you don't, not so much the appearance as, sounding really vain, but I just did not feel good.
Right.
I didn't feel good about myself.
Right.
Now I do. I feel much better. I mean, and that was about, I'm thinking 2013, so this is 2017. So, depending on the month, and I believe it was the beginning of the year. So, I feel like I have more interest, and I am more... I've always been reliable to myself, but now, or felt like I was, but now I feel like I'm really more in demand, and I'm more plugged into the people that I work with, and we relate better than I ever have before. So,
the relationship that you've now beginning to foster with a friend of yours, that was probably not as prevalent or possibility as much 4 years ago as it is now. Is that probably true?
That's true,
Right.
yes.
And so, now here's what I see with you, Joanne, and this is me. Your eyes are brighter, you're more enthusiastic, you're more upbeat, you're passionate, more passionate than you were before. That's how I see you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's me. How do you see yourself?
I am more engaged with whatever I'm doing. I enjoy it more. I think about different ways of improving certain things. Before, it was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm almost off, and I get home and I relax and I lay down and take a lot of naps at that time. So now when I go home, I think about ways that I can do it better. What I did today was good, but thinking about, let's try this when we're talking one-on-one to one of my clients, and maybe this would work better, and I wonder if we do this, just that for an example. Now I take just ideas and go with them instead of just laying them down. So I have a lot more things to look forward to. I look forward to doing a lot of things that I always wanted to do, but I would do them later. It's like so one thing that really proved that to be true, I've wanted since I've been back in Gainesville to remodel my mom and dad's home where I'm living. I've just done it. I've just got it. It's not all done, but you can see where it was and where it is now.
Right.
And that's a big accomplishment.
Yep.
So,
So if you had to say something, you're a baby boomer, right? I don't know if you know that or not. But if you were to say what's happened to you being involved in this system here to baby boomers, what would you tell them about what your future looks like?
well, I look forward to it. I have a friend that is really, when we get together and we really talk, really one-on-one, she loves to talk about heaven, and I love to talk about heaven myself. So we have a good, just a good rapport there, and she feels that would be something that she would welcome. Well, I will welcome it, but I have miles to go before I sleep. I have things to do. And before I thought, it's okay, but I have people to meet. There's things to do, really. I mean, I really do. And I look forward to making some trips that I have postponed until the things are right. But it looks like everything is aligning, so I'll be able to do those trips and I'll do things. So I would say to baby boomers, if maybe if you're thinking despondent and down, just look up. Look up and, think about what you really need. And there's some way, if you really just find out what it is that you need, there is an answer for that. You can find that.
Good. Very good. Good. You want to say anything else to baby boomers about your care or anything that got you here? Anything like you want to say about that?
Well, I don't know that I could really emphasize it more than I already have, because I was so looking down, basically, and just so, it was like I would pray, God, please just show me a way where I don't want to live this life less than what I am now. I don't want to be crippled. I certainly don't want to lose my sight. I don't want to lose this, that, and the other. So please, I pray, will you please send me some somebody, or let me know, let me hear something to let me know what's going on in my body, because I don't know. I would lay in bed and I would just have stabbing pains, and it was like, this is scary. I thought, is this appendicitis? Oh, well, am I losing my this, that, and the other? So I feel like that just really opening up and really just identifying what my greatest need is, and I needed help. I really did. So to me, I think if you just really know yourself, you just really, and if you don't just take time just to get along with yourself and just say, what's going on? What do I really want? Am I really happy?
Isn't this a good time to let yourself be healthy and happy? Call Dr. Wood at 770-536-6600.